Tony D and Little Joan in the background, and this is a screenwriter's rant on a TV show trailer for Sunny Nights, starring Will Forte, part of a brother and sister team that moves to Australia to start a tanning business, but it all goes wrong. Smash like and subscribe. Thank you for smash liking and subscribing. Check out my books. The links are in the description. Comedy horror in South Jersey. It's the Pineys. Books 1 through 19, available at Amazon.com. Don't forget, Kindle Unlimited is free. Now, in this one, the sister is the boss, right? Will Forte is playing a wimp. He just got divorced. She keeps telling him to toughen up. And then he somehow gets blackmailed by two Australian idiots. And the sister brings a gun to confront them. I think they end up killing them and then have to dispose of the bodies, which they do. I'm not sure what this has to do with their business, but then they get involved with some other gangsters, and it just seems to go downhill from there. At one point, they're torturing Will Forte, pouring water on him. I don't normally like Will Forte in comedies. He's kind of not funny enough, I feel, to carry a comedy. But this isn't a comedy. It's more of a sort of a crime drama with some comedic elements in it. So for that, he's okay. He's okay. So I guess it's a little tough to discern what the series will actually focus on. I think it's going to focus on Australian gangsters, like low-level gangsters, and Forte and his sister have to deal with them. And Forte's sister is very pushy, so she's going to be the one to do all the deals, and then this is a female gangster. It's not a show I want to watch. I know. Surprise, surprise. I like the title, Sunny Nights, but it's on Hulu, March 11th. Look, Will Forte, to me, is not strong enough to carry a series. He already had a big launch with was it The Last Man on Earth, a show that I really wanted to watch because I thought it would actually be about the last man on Earth, and then it turned out they would just jam in a million characters and they basically betrayed the premise of the show in the first episode, and it just goes downhill from there, in my opinion. So, and I've seen him in other things, and he's okay, but he never really kind of nails it. He never nails it. This show looks better than most of the stuff he's been in, but it's not being put on his shoulders. It's really more on his sister's shoulders. But it also feels very girl bossy, right? The men are weak and ineffectual or stupid or just, big dumb thugs. The women are the smart ones. They're making the moves. They're coordinating things. Look, again, this can happen once in a while in movies and TV, right? Once in a while, it's good to mix it up. You got a female character here or there in an unusual position that they're not normally in. That mixes things up. I'm not completely knocking the idea. But Hollywood is relentless in putting women in every major role now. Women are in charge. They call the shots. And men just have to sit in the background and look like dopes. I mean, it was bad enough in the 80s and 90s with sitcoms because the men were always these sloppy, dopey dads who never did anything right, and the wives were always the the smart ones in the background who really ran the family. It was never the other way around. But now this takes it to another level. This takes it to another level. And it's not just this show and not just one movie. It's tons of movies. And it's just tiresome. Again, I point to the one example I always point to. If you're lying in bed, you and your significant other, and there's a noise in the house late at night, does the man or the woman pick up the bat and go downstairs and see who's there? Yeah, it's the man. And that lends itself to a certain dichotomy, a certain paradigm in society and in life in general. Hollywood insists on ignoring that. Just throwing caution into the wind and saying, no. The unusual circumstance of a woman being the head gangster in a criminal organization is not that unusual. And in fact, she's going up against another woman who bosses around her brother. Those situations are not the norm. You can have them. Sometimes they make interesting narratives. But when you do it again and again and again, it's just tiresome. It's just tiresome and dumb. I wouldn't watch this show mainly for that. Right? If you had a situation in which Darcy there on the left was the only girl boss in the show, and she was a bit of a huckster, and she's trying to push her brother around, and she's involved with all these gangsters, and they were all men, that would be kind of an interesting show, because Darcy would be an unusual character who gets her brother in all this trouble, and you could play off that paradigm like, well, Darcy kind of doesn't really understand how much trouble she's bringing on to her brother, right? And you could have interesting confrontations where they assume it's her brother, the guy's calling the shot, and they beat him up while Darcy's standing there talking trash to the other gangsters. Instead, we've got, we got a female gangster. It just doesn't happen a lot in organized crime. It just doesn't. There's a few examples. There's a handful of examples. Sofia Vergara played female drug kingpin, or queenpin, you might say. But that was very unusual. Very unusual. So, and, Hulu is partially owned by Disney. So, again, this is probably coming out of the Disney factory. Let's see if there's a write-up here. No. Check the IMDb. I'll just read you the premise. Martin and Vicky Marvin are an American brother and sister duo who relocate to Sydney, Australia, hoping to establish a spray tan business. They find themselves entangled with the wrong people, trying to stay alive, out of jail, and in the black. It's not a bad premise at all. But if you're gonna fly in the face of the reality, and the reality is most criminals are men, then you are going to put yourself in the classification of shows that aren't very realistic. They just aren't very realistic. Now, if you look at Tulsa King, that's more realistic. I won't say that's super hyper realistic, but it's more. It's doing pretty well. Will this do well? I kind of think not. But it's just not for me. I just can't stand this girl bossing stuff. So you can keep doing it, Disney. You can keep wasting your money and time. I guess you could, continue this strategy and to wear everybody down and hope that enough of us dinosaurs all die off until you have nothing but kids who watch this again and again and again. And eventually they just, they just say, oh yeah, women are in charge. That's the norm, right? I don't think that's going to work because I don't think that comports to reality. And that's what makes a show like this. That's why the comedy probably won't land as effectively, and why the plots won't be as realistic. And you probably need that realism in order to make this show work. would be my argument. Anyhow, that's it for me, Tony D and Little Joan somewhere behind me. Thanks for tuning in tonight. That's it for me. Check out the other videos we do on the green site, the orange site, and the black site. I will be on Saturday at 2 p.m. at D. Mateo Vineyards. This is in Hamilton, New Jersey, for my 2 p.m. talk on how to hunt the Jersey Devil. Sunday, I'll be at the Atlantic City Punk Show in Atlantic City, from 12 to 6. Should be a great day. The weather's going to clear up this weekend. Hope to see you there. We'll see you tomorrow.